Yo, what's up everyone? It's Gadget Guru and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the world of online shopping. But, hold up, we're not just browsing for the latest tech deals, we're talking about the battle of the ecosystems, Apple versus Android. Welcome to our deep dive into the real truth of online shopping on Apple versus Android. We're gonna break down the shopping experience on both platforms, from the apps you use to the security features protecting your hard-earned cash. Today we'll explore the differences in user experience, security, payment methods, and much more. We'll see how each platform handles your data, the pros and cons of their payment systems, and even take a look at how hardware plays a role in the whole online shopping game. So buckle up, grab your wallets, and let's get right into it. First up, let's talk about the overall experience. When you're scrolling through pages of products, you want an app that feels smooth, responsive, and easy to navigate. Now, Apple prides itself on that unified, streamlined experience. Their App Store guidelines often mean developers optimize their apps specifically for iOS, so you generally get a really polished look and feel across the board. Android, on the other hand, thrives on variety. You've got a ton of different phone manufacturers, screen sizes, and even versions of Android itself. This can sometimes lead to some inconsistency in how apps look and function across different devices. But hey, that diversity also means more room for customization. Android lets you tweak and personalize your setup way more than iOS, so if you're someone who likes to tinker and fine-tune your experience, Android might be your jam. Ultimately, it boils down to your priorities. Do you value that super smooth, uniform experience that just works out of the box? Or do you prefer the freedom to customize and potentially squeeze out some extra features? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so we've talked about the feel, but what about keeping your hard-earned cash safe? Both Apple and Android take security seriously, but they approach it in their own ways. Apple's all about locking things down tight. They've got app tracking transparency, which lets you control which apps can track your activity across other apps and websites. Plus, Apple Pay has some serious fraud detection built right in. Android, on the other hand, is all about that open ecosystem and giving you options. You've got biometric authentication like fingerprint scanning and face unlock across a ton of devices, and Google Pay integrates seamlessly with tons of third-party apps. But with that openness comes a bit more responsibility. You've got to be a bit more mindful of the apps you download and the permissions you grant them. Android's given you the tools, but it's up to you to use them wisely. So whether you prefer Apple's walled garden approach or Android's open gate policy, the important thing is to stay informed and take steps to protect yourself online. Now let's talk about actually checking out and spending that money. Apple Pay is all about simplicity and speed. You just double-click that side button, authenticate with Face ID or Touch ID, and boom, you're done. It's super secure and it works like a charm, as long as you're in Apple's ecosystem. Trying to use Apple Pay on a non-Apple device? Good luck with that. Google Pay, on the other hand, plays nice with pretty much everyone. It's platform agnostic, so you can use it on Android phones, iPhones, even smartwatches. Plus, Android users get even more options like Samsung Pay and good old-fashioned PayPal. So, you've got that flexibility to choose the payment method that works best for you. Ultimately, both platforms offer secure and convenient ways to pay. It just comes down to how deep you are in a particular ecosystem and how much flexibility you need. Alright, so you've got your security and payment methods sorted, but what about the actual shopping apps themselves? Well, both Apple and Android have got you covered when it comes to the big players like Amazon, eBay, Target, you name it. On the Apple side, you can generally expect a really polished and optimized app experience. Developers know that iOS users are more likely to drop some cash on apps, so they tend to put extra care into making sure those apps are top-notch. Android, being the open platform that it is, often has a wider variety of apps available. You might find some cool niche shopping apps or independent developers who are doing some really interesting things. The downside? You might also run into some apps that are a little rough around the edges or haven't been updated in a while. It's a bit of a trade-off curated selection versus the wild west of app possibilities. Okay, we can't talk about online shopping without talking about the hardware, right? I mean, you're not going to be browsing for deals on a potato, are you? Apple's whole thing is that tight integration between hardware and software. They control the entire stack, from the processor to the operating system, so everything just tends to work really smoothly. This means you're likely to have a faster, more responsive browsing experience, especially on those higher-end iPhones. Scrolling through product pages, loading images, even the checkout process just feels snappier. With Android, it's a bit of a mixed bag. You've got flagship Android phones that can definitely go toe-to-toe with the latest iPhone in terms of performance. But you've also got budget Android devices where that experience might be a little more sluggish. So, if you're someone who values speed and responsiveness above all else, that tight integration in Apple's ecosystem might be a major selling point. But if you're rocking a high-end Android phone, you're probably not going to notice much of a difference. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the cost. Apple devices are notorious for their premium price tags. There's no getting around it, you're paying a premium for that Apple logo. But here's the thing, that premium often gets you a device that lasts longer. Apple's known for supporting their devices with software updates for years, which means you can hold onto your iPhone for longer before needing to upgrade. Android, on the other hand, offers a much wider range of devices at various price points. You can find a perfectly capable Android phone for a fraction of the cost of an iPhone. Of course, you might have to sacrifice some features, build quality, or even software support in the long run. So it's all about finding that balance between your budget and your needs. One last thing to consider is where you are in the world. The availability of certain apps, payment methods, and even the overall shopping experience can vary depending on your region. Apple Pay, for example, is widely accepted in many developed countries, but it might not be as ubiquitous in emerging markets. Google Pay, on the other hand, tends to have a broader reach globally. Similarly, certain shopping apps might be region-locked or offer different features depending on your location. It's always a good idea to check what's available in your area before you commit to a particular platform. Ultimately, the best ecosystem for online shopping is the one that best meets your individual needs and preferences. Consider your priorities, do your research, and choose the platform that feels right for you. Alright folks, it's time for you to weigh in. I've given you the rundown of online shopping on Apple and Android, but now I want to hear from you. Head over to the community tab and vote in our poll. Which ecosystem do you think offers the better online shopping experience? Let me know if you're Team Apple, Team Android, or maybe you're rocking both. And while you're at it, tell me about your go-to device for all things online shopping. Are you rocking the latest iPhone, a sleek Samsung, or maybe a trusty Pixel? Drop a comment down below and let's get this conversation started. So there you have it, a closer look at the online shopping experience on Apple and Android. From the apps you use to the security features protecting your data, both platforms offer their own unique advantages and disadvantages. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tech insights. And be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Let us know in the comments which ecosystem you prefer for online shopping and why. Your insights could help someone else make an informed decision. Until next time, keep on shopping smart.